G'day viewers, I'm Simon Christie, owner of 4 Wheel Drive TV and one of your hosts here at Your 4x4. I love adventure, I love exploring our beautiful bushland, and I'm a dedicated 4x4 tourer. But I'm also passionate about sharing this dream, and I try not to travel anywhere without my good mate and co-host Danny Sparks Cousins.
Hi viewers, and welcome to a new episode, a new series and a new start for Your 4x4. Now I've been travelling and 4-wheel driving for well over 25 years now, and touring around with Simon for a good 10 years plus. I'm passionate about 4-wheel driving, I love everything off-road, and I love to share our adventures with you, which is one of the reasons we started this program.
So what are we expecting to see on Your 4x4?
Your 4x4 is all about everything you can do in your 4-wheel drive. It's about your weekend, your getaway, your adventure, your touring, and of course, your 4x4. For this series, we're taking viewers on an amazing adventure to the red centre of Australia, and we'll finish off with 3 episodes touring around the Brindabella Ranges.
We've been doing this for over 8 years and we've produced 140 episodes already.
And all of those are available for catch-up on YouTube.
Now, I'm not going to give away our ages, but between Danny and I, we have over 60 years of 4-wheel drive and off-road experience. But Your 4x4 isn't just about us, and we're lucky to travel with a select group of 4x4 industry experts and some interesting characters, to say the least.
Well, that's right, Simon. We've selected a team of leading industry brands and industry experts to take along on these wonderful journeys with us and explain the true essence of 4-wheel driving and share the Australian bush and the outback with you, the viewer.
Well, I think that's enough from Danny and I. How about we hit the tracks and show the world why Australia is the #1 4-wheel driving destination.
Sounds good to me. Viewers, I hope you enjoy the episode and our adventures. Let's get things started. "1,500 kilometres north of Adelaide and 1,500 kilometres south of Darwin, right in the heart of Australia, sits the capital of the Outback, Alice Springs. This bustling modern oasis is located in the southern end of the Northern Territory and is alive with Australian culture. It's the gateway to the Outback's best gorges and scenery. Alice Springs is also the only major town and service centre for an area roughly the same size as the state of Texas, making this quaint destination a very important place for anyone desiring to explore our nation's spectacular red centre.
We set off from Alice Springs with a convoy of Australia's leading 4x4 specialists. Amongst them, and for his first trip with the Your 4x4 team, was Daniel Watt from Cooper Tyres.
We got off the blacktop outside of Alice, and the first thing we did was pull over and air down. Critical thing, I guess, when you're driving in these sorts of conditions is to make sure you've got the right pressure in your tyres. Last thing you want to do is be stuck on the side of the road with a flat tyre in the middle of nowhere. It's fairly barren, it's hot, and there's not a lot of resources here to keep you alive, so tyre pressures are crucial.
a wealth of information and a Your 4x4 veteran, we once again had our train-loving Alan Johnson from Piranha Off-Road Products along for the journey to keep us both informed and entertained.
Well, guys, here we are about 20 minutes out of Alice Springs. We're in the middle of the desert, Central Australia. What an amazing place. We've just stopped at an old ruins called Arltunga, which is part of the old Ghan railway line. Ghan railway line is pretty spectacular because that was built 138 years ago to link Port Augusta to Darwin. And it's called the Ghan after the Afghan Cameleer guys who used to cart stuff around because that's the only other way of carting things.
Sadly, in the 80s, that had been vandalised and set on fire, so it was fairly dilapidated, but it's still an amazing area to have a look at the old narrow gauge Ghan railway. Quite cool to see.
You can see the old original sleepers, some of the spikes. This place is just teeming with history.
Look at this Ghan railway line. How good is this? This is the best.
Now we're just down the road at the Arltunga Rock Carvings Reserve. We've got petroglyphs or rock carvings up on the rocks up here. A little bit of a walk up. Let's check it out.
Joining us for his first Your 4x4 experience was Jeff Buswell from Iveco.
The history, the Aboriginal art, is just untouched. You can actually see it, that there's been storms that have just come through over the years that really erode into those rocks and they're still there. So it's really good stuff.
There's great signage to give you an idea of why the Aboriginals used to come here. The viewing platform that looks out over the top of the water pan, which is clearly very, very dry out here, but it's quite obvious where it used to be.
Out of respect for local ideologies, we can't show you close-up video or photograph of the carvings that are here. So it's so important that you come and experience it for yourself. You can leave a comment in the comment box when you're leaving, and that's what we're doing right now.
From Carryboy Canopies and Accessories, we had Luciano Capasso, giving up 2 weeks of his life in Queensland just to join us on this adventure.
It's not a flat country at all. We've got a lot of hills, a lot of steep descents. I didn't expect it to be this hilly, curvy and dusty, but I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's going to be an exceptional trip. The views are magnificent out here. You can't put a price on them. Off a video camera, it'll look great. You hear it'll look 10 times better. It's our country. It's a beautiful country we've got here, and if you get the opportunity, do it. That's all I can say is just do it.
Now we're just coming into the last 10 kilometres into Chambers Pillar, and it's full of sand dunes, a very narrow track, so it's advisable to put the sand flag up so any oncoming traffic can see that we're on our way.
Chambers Pillar is a huge rock edifice in the middle of the desert. And then the sun comes across, the combination of that powder blue sky, the red of the rocks, the red in the colours. This is truly a land of awesome contrasts.
Around for the full 2 weeks of our Red Centre adventure, and proving that touring is not just for retirees, is Baden Limeroth from Berrima Diesel.
Heading off to Rainbow Valley tonight to do camping again, which was phenomenal last night, and tonight would be the exact same. I just got out of my swag, looked out into the sky, and it was beautiful orange with blue, and all the colours was just amazing.
Went through the Hugh River stock route today. A lot of red dirt again, really long road, some beautiful scenery, mountains on the side. It was a really nice track and not that difficult either. There's miles and miles of dirt roads, mountains, trees. How can you worry?
It's only about 30-40 kilometres to Rainbow Valley, which is basically nothing compared to the rest of our trip. So we'll get into camp nice and early, which will be excellent.
There's just so much to look at when you're coming through. In fact, some of the red dust on those roads was just so powerful. It was just fantastic. We took lots of photos. We saw lots of wildlife today. We also saw quite a bit of cattle on the side of the road. It's really important when you see those cattle that you slow down and you let the convoy know that they're ahead, because quite often they'll dart in front of vehicles. So you've got to be really, really careful.
Even though it's a cold time of the year and it's a bit of a wet situation, it's actually still quite possible to go and explore these wonderful places. The track's not overly challenging, but if you're in a Commodore, it would be terrifying. We've headed into this amazing spot. This is just knock your socks off. Thought Chambers Pillar was good for colours, but this is amazing. It's called Rainbow Valley, and I guess it's called Rainbow Valley because of the amazing colours in here.
Second day out and we've arrived at this beautiful Rainbow Valley. It's just a gorgeous place. The sandstone formations just look absolutely spectacular.
This country is all about contrasts. It's just spectacular. I mean, you think that was great, but this is even better.
We're out taking some panoramic shots of the formations behind us. So much in such a small area. It's just great.
This country, guys, come out and see it. It is absolutely awesome.
Seen some fantastic landscape, which is just pristine, just inspiring landscape that's just untouched. It was something I've never done and something I thoroughly enjoyed, and just tell everybody to go and do it because it's excellent, really good.
As morning breaks over Rainbow Valley, sunlight paints the rugged sandstone cliffs. The formations are rich in iron, creating a strong contrast with the pale sandstone. After a peaceful night, the convoy is up and more than ready to start the next leg of their Red Centre adventure. Forming just a part of the James Range, the cliffs are a popular destination for photographers, campers, walkers and day trippers from Alice Springs. Only a 90-minute drive from the centre of Alice Springs, the Rainbow Valley Reserve is the traditional country of the upper southern Arrunda people, and it is known to them as Wura.
Took off this morning at a reasonable hour, which was quite nice. Back out to the bitumen and only a short drive up there, where we turned off towards Lawrence Gorge. While we continued along that drive, we got to Redbank Waterhole, where there's an old dry riverbed there. It was a very, very beautiful place, but we realised there were some tracks heading down into the dried out riverbed, and when you're in the Iveco 4x4 daily, all you want to do is head off-road.
I do love a good riverbed. But a big sandy riverbed, great little angle out off the top. Got the Iveco playing there, got the Toyota playing there. We had a great time, it was a really nice spot.
I haven't actually done much driving in sand before. It's been great fun really. All the sand has been hard. Definitely you slide everywhere, you go sideways, it's a bit of steering, but all it is about correction, going slow and never putting yourself in an uncomfortable state of driving.
So we dropped down into the river, we crossed over, had a look at the views and then did a little drive up the Dryde riverbed. It was fantastic. Turned around, everybody was safe. It looked like it was a bit sandy, but nobody got bogged.
You always have to be prepared, ready for the worst. So things like there could be sharp rocks, there could be boggy holes. You just want to be prepared and make sure you got someone with you to assist. Or satellite phones even, they're a great thing to bring out with you. But it was definitely good fun, definitely something you should always explore. Have a look around, see if you can see any tracks, test them out or walk them first and see if you can do them. And if you can, go for it and have a mad time.
So we got to a bog hole today. It was the only one we saw in the middle of the track that was substantial, and the rest of the convoy was pulled over and the Iveco shown the way through. We had to test the depth of the bog hole. We all know that the best way to do that is either with a stick or an Iveco daily 4x4.
I'm absolutely loving these outback roads. There's been so much rain around the area that there is a bit of water left on the roads. Some of the sections you can't get around it, but we're still in high range four-wheel drive. I'll put the rear diff lock on this vehicle just for a little bit of added traction and a little bit of momentum. We certainly don't want to be spinning the wheels. Get those windscreen wipers going. I'll tell you what, she's hard going through the windscreen here, but just keep it straight as you can. Keep the power into it. A little bit of left and right with the steering wheel. She's a bit soft down there, but no drama at all. And just back off as we start to come out. You don't need to throw too much mud around. You certainly don't want to cut the tracks up, but that's mud driving. And keep in mind that most of them have got a good hard clay floor, just a little bit slippery, but certainly good fun to drive here in the Outback.
Then we headed out to Lawrence Gorge. The drive into the gorge was fantastic. You've got rocks growing up from the scenery on both sides of you. The trees were starting to get taller. We were moving away from the short desert shrubs, moving into some more traditional, iconic Australian scenery. The drive through the gorge was a little narrow, but that just made the drive all that more beautiful, nicely shaded. And we're having a fairly warm day here, so it was nice to get into the shade for a little bit.
Once we travel from there, we can travel on more and more dirt roads, lots and lots of dust, and this is what Outback Australia is like. You can fly over it and you don't get that experience. People tell me they've been to see Central Australia. They flew into Ayers Rock and came out again. They saw nothing. Driving these roads, and it's not even the challenge of it, just the experience of driving all that dust and those corrugations, those bumps and potholes. It hammers into your brain how vast this country is, and it really makes you kind of understand what it's all about. You've got to drive it, you've got to do it to see it.
Absolutely.
So we went to the Haunted Bore, and it's pretty crazy what actually happened with the floods going through. It knocked down a windmill, the water tank was down the river. It's actually crazy to think how much power water can actually create in one big blast. The Haunted Bore was named that because the cattle actually went there to drink, and every time they went there to drink they got freaked out, and so they called it the Haunted Bore.
There's an echo for you.
So we cruised on through some native grasslands and found our way to the Owen Springs Homestead. You could see the homestead rising up out of the grasslands. It's a stark white building that really is obvious against the red of the dirt and the bright blue we've got today of the skies.
The homestead really brings it home as to what it would have been like living in this area. No water, no electricity, no air conditioning. This is 1800s, just in the middle of nowhere, no cars, no transport. Well, these people were tough. Evidently, the story goes that one of the guys that came out had a wife that was pregnant with only a kid that was 1 year old. So pretty amazing to survive and get through that sort of stuff.
Just the thought of how they lived to how we live now is crazy. They didn't have food access, they didn't have planes. How they built things was all by hand, not by a big bobcat or an excavator. The creek beds were dry as a bone and we couldn't see one bit of water, and they actually found water in the creek beds when it was dry. Yeah, it's really phenomenal and cool how things can be created like that and how they actually lived.
What was interesting at the Owen Springs Homestead is it's heritage listed, which is fantastic that we work so hard to preserve some of the history of this great country. The homestead's been there since the 1800s and unfortunately derelict now, but they are fenced off and there for your viewing pleasure, but for no more. If you're up in Alice Springs, the Owen Springs Homestead and the Lawrence Gorge are less than 100 kilometres out of town, and it's well worth the drive. It's an absolutely beautiful, iconic part of Australia.
We're at Alice Springs, 11 k's out of town, the centre of Alice. Inside you'll see all the history of the Ghan railway track coming up from Adelaide. That was prior to 2004, when finally in 2004 the line went through from Alice Springs to Darwin.
Oh, they're my posters, sorry.
Your posters?
I've got those exact posters. The reproductions, they're amazing.
They are, they're great.
Aren't they
We
awesome?
could sell thousands of them.
I know, they're so cool.
Yeah.
I have on my mountain.
The museum itself contains a lot of information, all the history, so you come and have a look. The library itself here has an excellent history and archives for anybody to come in and read. We open 7 days a week, 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. The museum, the Truck Museum and the Ghan Museum, is run by a CEO and a board and its members, and most of the work is done by our volunteers. We are a volunteer program. We get the grey nomads flocking in here with their caravans, and they will do anything that we ask that they feel comfortable to do, from plumbing, cleaning, all those general things. Without the volunteers, we wouldn't have been able to expand the infrastructure, grow the museum and so on.
Well guys, here we are. This is sort of a dream. We're at the Ghan Museum in Alice Springs with the original Ghan railway engine out the front here. Right, here we go, aboard the Ghan. Genuine original Ghan. Wow. We're travelling back in time here to the 1950s. This is brilliant. This is one of the original engines. It's actually intact. And guess what? It would actually run. If they put diesel in it and got the right things happening, it would run. It's been not restored, it's as it was parked. Here we go. Have a look at this, Shumin, come on. This is the luxury end. It's the mystery and the mystique of the whole thing. This train was built when there was virtually no other way of getting across Australia. I mean, it was camels, for Christ's sakes. I mean, imagine dragging all your goods by a camel as opposed to an engine and a train. This literally opened up Australia. Now, this would be the room of terror. You're rattling along at huge speed, right? And this is the loo. And if you look, you can see the track underneath. Seriously, I'm not joshing. Come on, look. Look, it's unbelievable. It's a piece of walking history. It's like going into a time machine. As you walk down the middle, you go sucked into that past, that era of the past. It is brilliant. Actually cleaning your chimney to make sure the chimney's all clean.
Just to let you know we're moving.
If you listen carefully, I'm sure you'll hear the sound of a train running. and people waving frantically. It's not the Ghan, it's what we call the mini Ghan, and it's our little model 7¼ inch railway track that runs this little train. And as you can see, big kids like it just as much as little kids.
I've got to say a huge thank you to Cheryl. Now Cheryl's from the actual Road Transport Hall of Fame just down the road, but she took us on this tour, organised us to ride on the mini train, the mini Ghan, which was an absolute, I'm a big kid for Christ's sakes, what can you say? That was brilliant. We've got 2 rides anyway, moving along. Cheryl did a fantastic job. The other people working there were really, really helpful. They got everything out for us to show us all the good things. These guys go out of their way to make these sort of things survive, keep history alive. You do your bit, come and see it.
We had a great start this morning. We left Alice Springs about 8:30. The first stop I had which was Emily's Gap and Jash's Gap.
Now it is very culturally significant to the local Indigenous population. They've asked us that we don't film within the gap, so we're going to go for a bit of a walk. We'll catch up with you soon.
It was quite fascinating. A lot of beautiful things to see there. I always like the magnificent river gums. They're quite stunning.
Quite spectacular for these large rock formations that have just been carved up by the water. Also seeing the Indigenous paintings on the wall with their history of belief of the caterpillars running through and carving it through. It's fascinating.
It was a beautiful spot to be. I'd recommend to go there, make it a priority to see these spots. They're actually beautiful, nice rockery and a few Aboriginal carvings. It was a spectacular sight.
They were very sandy and very spectacular. You can see where the high water mark had been at some point in time in both of those gaps. That was really spectacular. It reminded me of the Kimberleys almost again.
Absolutely awesome to experience these gaps, guys, and a big insight into Indigenous life. The local temperature's reaching around 30 degrees, and inside those gaps you've got beautiful trees, you've got plenty of shade and a nice breeze coming through. A great rest for us, but we've got plenty more to show you, so let's jump back on board the vehicles and head towards Bin's track and more red dirt.
Looked like a pretty easy track, quite accessible, spectacular scenery straight across it, and it actually made you feel at peace. It just ticked all the boxes for me.
Today we've been having dust on the tracks again, and also some water holes. We found a nicely shady spot, and I suggested that would be a good spot for lunch. I was cutting up my tomatoes ready for my sandwiches, and I heard this noise in the background and looked over the side, and there was a goanna shaking a snake and trying to eat it.
We went on to Ross River this afternoon. We went through some deep ravines with sand. We went through water. It was something I've never done and something I thoroughly enjoyed, and just tell everybody to go and do it.
Made our way deep into this country now. Scenery changing from beautiful ghost gums, ancient riverbeds, spinifex and mulga.
We went through one section through a river crossing, so you've got to be prepared. You've got to be in a four-wheel drive vehicle. The water wasn't deep, but a lot of modern vehicles which you buy, even in the four-wheel drives, the air inlet is very low. And one of the vehicles had an issue. Actually, luckily, we've managed to fix it. It's not a problem, but it shows you've got to be prepared. When you come out here, you need a good air filter, ideally a snorkel. Not that you're going up to the bottom through water, but it doesn't have to be very high, and you can get some water and you're in trouble straight away.
The car's not moving, hang on.
Luge coming through that water crossing as he came out felt a little bit of a miss with the vehicle. So straight away, the careful thing to do, be cautious, pull over, get the bonnet up, check things out. And in this case, it's very, very easy. Just observing in the engine bay, we can see where water has splashed up from underneath, and we know it's right in the vicinity of the air take, which is actually just down here behind the headlight or just next to the headlight. So a poorly designed intake. Whilst that is a real concern, the fact here is that the air cleaner has done its job and it has protected the intake. Next time we'll get back into Alice Springs, we'll grab another spare filter. You've got to have spares when you're out here. We've got the EDS from DP Chip here. We'll run over the vehicle to make sure there are no codes and check what's going on with the computer. Beautiful, purring like a pussycat and certainly no misses. Let's bolt it all back together and we'll be happy sailing back on the tracks.
The Homestead was 1880 or 1890, thereabouts, and it's hard to imagine back then, with no electricity, no fuel, no phones, no power, no nothing, that civilization was out here, living off the land. It's awe-inspiring stuff.
Quite mind-blowing to think that someone comes out to think, well, let's build a house and raise some cattle.
Driving in here was great. It was just a serene place to be. I'm really rapt that we've actually stayed here. Danny's planned the day for us really well. Having the sun bouncing off the rocks, he's just done a great job. It pays to plan your trips so you get the experience you really want to experience.
Because I was travelling alone and driving the vehicle, I think I struggled to keep on the road because I kept rubbernecking, looking out the window at the scenery, and every corner we took was another Kodak moment.
Everything's so well marked these days on all these camping areas now, really well defined. They're really encouraging people to come out to these areas.
Set up camp for the night, have a look around. You can't ask for more than this. It's spectacular.
Oh, you've got to come out and see it. You'll love it.
Your first entry this week is this great looking Navara, snapped here heading out on a snow trip in the Victorian high country. Next is this very tidy lifted and locked Triton, out for a bit of fun on Stockton Beach. This well-kitted out Hilux is set up to cater for the whole family. This photo was taken on the beautiful Moreton Island. This 60 Series Land Cruiser is still going strong and loves to tackle some of the tougher tracks. This pic was taken while out with friends in Walhalla. And your final entry this week is this Isuzu D-Max, ready for a Queensland weekend getaway.
Bit of a windy night last night, but a beautiful campground at Trephina Gorge. Bargain price of $3.30 per person, or whatever it was to camp there, which is terrific.
Now, Danny, we're heading out of Trephina Gorge this morning. We've had a very quick pack up.
I thought we might head down to John Hayes Rockhole. It's a little bit of a four-wheel drive trip out to, and a waterhole out at the end. And because it's warming up, I wouldn't be surprised if a few people jump in.
The trip into John Hayes Rockhole was a single lane track, which was easy to start with, but traversed into the creek areas and was quite rocky and probably a little bit challenging. You wouldn't want to take a non-four-wheel drive down that way.
To get there was quite tricky actually. A lot of rock climbing, crawling, fantastic stuff.
It was only a short 100-metre walk up to the Rockhole from the car park, and quite spectacular to find what was quite a large size area of water in it that was deep enough to swim in.
There's gum trees and plant life coming from the gorge walls out sideways, which is just amazing.
Basically, that's an amazing area. You've got this huge big chasm and water in the bottom of it, very much like the Kimberleys, very Kimberley-esque. Very red rocks, beautiful colours, really, really cool water. A beautiful place, a very sacred place, real treasure to go and see, really worthwhile.
There's actually a sign there regarding water safety and respecting the area that you're in. We want to obey these rules so that these areas are left open for future generations to enjoy and explore. Leaving the Rockhole, we made our ways back onto Binns Track and made our way down to Arltunga pub for the second leg of what ended up being a great day.
This country, I guess, is something you've got to actually experience. You can't fly over it, you can't come in with a helicopter, you need to drive it. The plains are reminiscent of Western movies you might have seen as a kid, like the Bonanzas and Wyoming and places like that. It's very, very picturesque.
We've made our way to Arltunga, which is a nice little spot up here. Nice and warm, beautiful mountain views. First stop we did was at the pub.
And very disappointing. It's a pub with no beer, and to express that, there's a very sad face painted on the sign. There's not a lot of activity, there's not a lot of places to spend your money around here, but it's a great place to visit all the same. From there we've headed off here to the Arltunga Gold Ruins Museum.
The visitor centre, they've done a great job in setting it up so you can just walk through.
There's a stamping plant, there's a big steam engine wreck, there's a diesel engine wreck from probably about 1910, 1920. All the machinery is here and it's all basically intact. And the remarkable thing is it hasn't been vandalised, hasn't been stolen, bits aren't taken off it, it's all there. With a bit of work you can probably get it all running. But the thing that really bugs in your mind is, how did they get it out here? This machinery is huge. It was made in Richmond, Victoria. So this was all shipped up all the way from Melbourne. We've just come 2,000 odd kilometres to get here. Was that horses? Was it trains? Was it camels? But without them, you can't extract the gold because most of the gold here came from quartz. And to get the quartz rock, you've got to crush it up into a powder, then you wash it with water and you process it and you get your gold out. So it's an amazing process.
It's good to know where we've come from. The modern technology is always appreciated more, but you look at the old technology, it's just straightforward. Danny and Shay found some old toys down the back.
Take this one for a drive.
They even got to play with them, so you actually feel like you were there in that era, so to speak.
We went further on into Arltunga gold area where the mining started and a small township was built up around the mines. The old police station was actually restored. They've got a new roof on it. They've obviously added a little bit onto the walls again, back into its original condition. It made you actually appreciate how much hard work it would have been back in the day building it by hand, using local stones.
They've even left the old fireplace intact. The old jail's been reconstructed and that looks fantastic. Danny does look like Ned Kelly, so...
It wasn't me, I didn't do it.
Ready for dinner?
Yeah.
I can tell you I'll be bringing my family back out here because this is really good.
With the day getting a bit long, we moved ourselves quite quickly into Ruby Gap. Quite a challenging road actually, definitely four-wheel drive only.
You had to be careful on the tracks with the protruding rocks that were coming out sideways because they're quite sharp. You don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the bush. So you just got to make sure that you guide yourself through and make sure the tyres you've got go over the top of the rocks, otherwise they take the side of the tyres out. So we were really careful about that.
Coming into Ruby Gap, the sun setting in the gorges here was absolutely fantastic. Very soft sand. Took close to 20 minutes of driving in that creek bed to eventually end up where we're camping tonight. We'll get a fire going, then enjoy the evening, a bit of a cook-up, then talking about what a great day we've had and all our experiences.
Ruby Gap is one of those special little corners of Australia that you just can't believe until you're within it. We'd trekked as far as we could along the formed trails of the Gap and had set up our campsite at what seemed to be the beginning of an enticing rock garden that just dared us to push onwards.
It would have been perfect if we had a bit more time there. You know, just to relax a bit more and enjoy it. It's definitely somewhere that you would want to go, spend a couple of nights just to enjoy that relaxation, because it is like you wake up, there's just no noise, the scenery that you wake up to is quite spectacular.
After a beautiful night spent in our 5 million star accommodation at Ruby Gap, we made our way out in the morning, traversing through the river, a couple of challenging climbs up the riverbanks.
I would think for all of us it was probably the most impressive place we had been to so far. The mountain range is just brilliant. It was great fun to drive down the river, so we had a great time there. Great for photography. People should go and see it. It's really worthwhile.
With the blue skies and the rocks, the sand was actually bouncing off the rocks. Just gave us this beautiful, serene place to be. Very relaxing, enjoyable, great scenery. I haven't seen colours like that in a very long time.
Huge rock escarpments, flat riverbeds with beautiful sand. The sand is white, the rocks are red, the sky is blue, and as I've said before many times, this is a land of contrasts. It is really, really spectacular. It's a place you've just got to come and see.
The greatest thing about this trip and your 4x4 is other industry specialists that have come along on this trip as well. So we've got to, engage with these guys, talk about different things like tyre pressures, off-road abilities of all different types of vehicles. As you can see, I'm from Iveco, and we've had our new daily 4x4 on this tour, and it's been fantastic. A lot of people look at it and go, it's very imposing because of its size, but everywhere where these guys went with these other 4x4s, our vehicle went as well.
Look, I handle sand driving really well. I've done it before. The vehicle I'm in now handled it well, hit a few ruts, a few water crossings, not deep ones, just a couple of small ones, and it was just fantastic. Driving in the sand, go slow, follow tracks that are already there. We try and follow each other. The sand was quite soft and would give in. So yeah, you just got to be a little bit cautious, keep it in four-wheel drive, keep your tyre pressure down all the time, yep, and just have fun.
My grandson, Baden, he was driving the vehicle. He's on this patrol. He did some sand driving, first time for him. So he'd really never done any driving like that before. So it was really an experience for him. He really enjoyed it very, very much. He was a bit nervous at times and with all the big rocks around the bottom of the river, but it was great. It was always well advised by the whole group, what to do, what not to do. And we all try and do the correct thing.
Heading out of Ruby Gap, we travelled through the heart of the East MacDonnell Ranges, along Binns Track towards Old Amberlindum. The next stop was to discover some of the history of the area by popping into Hale River Homestead.
After the morning drive, felt like a bit of a rally race through a lot of the tracks there, trying to keep up with convoy. Bit of fun actually. Made our way here to Hale River Homesteads, and is actually not something you'd expect.
Hi, I'm Lynn from Hale River Homestead. Welcome to Old Amber Linden.
Right to go for a walk?
Okay, come on in. So this is the main part of the accommodation here with the cottage and the homestead.
Now Hale's Homestead has been basically set up as a tourism type place. So you've got lovely food, you've got fresh food you can buy, there's ice creams and all sorts of good stuff. But for me there was a couple of real bonuses. They've just put a shed up there that's got 4,000 watts of solar panels on the roof. Absolutely amazing. So you generate all your own power?
Yeah, that'll be going soon. And we've got the new shed with a massive bank of solar panels on the roof.
But what's even more amazing is the old houses from the turn of the century have been restored. And they've been restored in a beautiful way, so they look absolutely fantastic inside.
Come on inside and I'll show you in the cottage.
Walls this thick, huge big metal beams going through with big plates on the end that stop the walls from falling out.
Yeah, this is the original part of the cottage, which was originally the stockman's quarters. And yeah, it's been renovated and now it's a guest accommodation.
In one room they were telling me they've actually got sticks above it, they've put corrugated iron inside and that acts as insulation before we had modern day insulation. So it's a pretty cool place to visit.
So the homestead is a little bit like walking through Grandma's house because it goes through many ages.
Beautifully set up, beautiful old furniture and old things in the house and that. It's really, really well set up. That's worthwhile going to. I think people should really investigate that.
You could see like they've still got the old ovens working.
Actually in the garden is the original stove from there.
You know, the old sinks, and even we went through the old meat house as well, so a lot of all the old machinery that they used, the cool rooms, you can just see that, you know, that they've kept it well and it's still running.
The sun was out and it was just fantastic. A bit of grass that they had around the homestead was beautiful. If you're ever within the area and you want somewhere to stay, go there, it was beautiful.
Continuing our journey along Bin's track, we eventually found our way to the mud tank Zircon fields, where Jackie from the Gemtree Caravan Park was awaiting our arrival.
So I'm Jackie, I'm from Gemtree Caravan Park. Most people that stay at Gemtree will do a fossicking tour of some description, whether it's Ghan or Zircon. I'm out here today showing these guys how to find Zircon. What you have to do to find the Zircon is dig, all right? Pick and shovel, dig. You don't need to dig great big deep holes. The Zircon's found in a layer that's known of as the wash, so it's in gravel. You need to wash it to see what you're looking for. Now the Zircon isn't a particular colour, so it's really like looking for a needle in a haystack. What you have to do is actually look for a look. It's got a special glow about it.
Zircon. I had no idea what that was. As far as I was concerned, zircon, zirconia, they all sounded alike. I've learned a lot, it's not the same. Zirconia is man-made, zircon comes out of the ground, and it's quite difficult to find. In fact, I didn't find any of it whatsoever.
Oh, the fossing was great today. Gemtree was great. The lady explained it all, how it's done, how to find the gems. We've got water and all this, and the sieves, and we sieved through. And I think everybody ended up with a couple of nice little stones and that.
I've never done it before. Our team, I've got to admit, we found 6, and Baden took them by all. He didn't offer them to anybody. But no, that was all fun. The tour guide was fantastic. She showed us what to do, how to do it, and how to tell the difference between what we're looking for and what we're finding, which some of the gems that we're finding weren't really that good anyway, but yeah, it was interesting.
When you get back to Gemtree after your tour, what we do is we sort and grade the stones and then show you what you can make out of them. I think There's something really special about having a piece of jewellery made out of a gem that you found. It reminds you of where you found it, and this place is spectacular. You know, it's beautiful.
Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to our home. We're here at Gemtree. We are 140 kilometres northeast of Alice Springs on the Plenty Highway, sealed road right to our gate. However, there's all sorts of adventures from here on in.
So we enjoyed a lovely home-cooked roast dinner put on by Kate and her lovely family. Been out there for 5 generations out on the Plenty Road.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Northern Territory. It stands for not today, not tomorrow. It's all right, dinner will be ready soon.
The meal provided was absolutely beautiful. It was one of the best meals I'd had. Superb gravy, and unfortunately Kate wouldn't give away her secret recipe. So that stays up there at Gemtree, obviously.
This is Annie, right down to the littlest Riley on the end here. This is Riley. And so they'll be handing out the cutlery to you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be ticking you off. That's what I do, I tick people off. Okay, so I've got the list, so you just come past me and I'll tick you off and you take the low road home. I haven't finished yet. This is my mother, can you tell? Can you tell? Can you tell? I haven't finished yet, just wait. Welcome, we love having you, thank you.
Coming out of Alice, you go from one landscape to another, from sandy desert back into rock again, and it's forever changing. There's always something to look at and something to be amazed with. We've done about 140 k's on the blacktop before turning off to Henbury meteorite craters. 4,000 years ago, a meteorite hit here at about 40,000 kilometres an hour, and the damage that it's done, to have it still here today, and it's quite amazing to stand on the rim of the crater and look around. We got up to the top of the crater and standing on the edge looking down, there's a lot of saltbush and everything growing in the bottom because it's very rich soil. And after the recent rains out here, it's very lush in the area, but even inside the crater you can see how nature's taken over, and you know, there's a lot of regrowth in there. It has had 4,000 years to do it, but it's good to see that there is regrowth. But to look down in it, I didn't think it'd be as deep as what it is and as big as what it is. It's only a short walk out. It's about 1.5k return, slide uphill. You know, if I can do it, anyone else can do it. It's relatively easy.
So we've just gone along a little bit further and we've sort of turned up onto a little backtrack, and it's really been quite scenic. You've got all the red in the road, you've got these sort of sand dunes that the sort of tracks and roads are going over. It's absolutely just wildflowers, and not just flowers this time. I've never smelt them before when we've been out. We're getting lots of photos of these probably tough looking four-wheel drives in some really nice flowered backgrounds, which might not look in place, but I tell you what, it'd be a beautiful place to be camping on. You'd be in a bed of flowers all night.
When I was told I had the privilege of coming along for another Your 4x4 trip, quite excited. It's always very well organised, and the iconic places that we go, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
I have been on a few trips. I think this might be my 4th. It's still great to have some of the industry leaders with us that actually guide you through it. We've got Cooper Tyres on this trip, we've got Piranha, we've got DP Chip, and we've got also Iveco with their new truck here. You've got Simon Christie that's been a great help for me. I still need that guidance. Having the experience that we've got here in this group is, yeah, there's no words that can describe it, because I've been helped a lot.
Travelling along the banks of the Finke River, the convoy finished the day at Boggy Hole campsite. It's an uninviting name, but it's home to a permanent waterhole. Beautifully shady ghost gums, and in the afternoon light, the red cliffs come alive.
We got into Boggy Hole last night, which is actually inappropriately named because it's not a boggy hole at all. It's a beautiful reflection with a huge escarpment of rocks behind it.
Tip number 1, get your fry pan ready, heat it up, and make sure it's level on the ground so you don't have your egg go all over the floor like I just did. Lesson learnt, and I'll be making sure it's even tomorrow morning for another great breakfast. Tastes good. I'd just like to have that other half on here to finish off my breakfast well.
Left Boggy Hole this morning and headed towards the first water crossing. Luciano wasn't confident in the VW that it would have enough fording clearance for the water, so we went the alternative route. In a convoy, you don't send anyone off alone, so I obviously went with him and led the way. It was still a nice little four-wheel drive track, undulating, quite technical in a few spots. When we got to the other side, we saw the sign that said deep water crossing, no snorkel, no go. If you're unsure, never take that risk, always take the alternative route.
The rest of us had a crack at the Waterhole crossing. Now this water crossing is actually quite deep. It was up to Danny about there. And how do we know that? Because Danny walked it.
Well, Danny, this is awesome. A little bit of rain, water in the outback, but come on, it doesn't look that deep.
This is the water crossing that I spoke to the rangers about, and apparently on the far side it gets quite deep, so it's probably worth walking.
Rock, paper, scissors? All right. Rock, paper, thongs. I reckon that's the easy way out, Danny. Off you go.
All right, let's check it out. So it looks like a nice gradual drop in from this side.
How's the temperature?
It's nice, I'll go for a swim. All right, I think we've found the deepest spots about here. This side is probably shallower. This will be Simon's side.
Beautiful. How's the bottom feel?
Bottom's got a fair amount of rock, pretty hard packed, lots of traction.
All right, let's get in those vehicles and we'll get across.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. Now coming into these crossings, you don't want to go too fast. Just take it nice and easy. You don't want to create too much of a splash, but you do want to have enough speed to create what's called a bow wave. Now a bow wave will create a big wave that looks quite deep in front of the vehicle. You'll see that up near the bonnet, but it actually creates a bit of a shallow area around the engine bay, and that vacuum or lower water area helps keep the engine dry. All right, the big Iveco, no problems at all for fording depth. This is the highest clearance vehicle we've got on the trip, 37-inch tyres, and it's ADR approved to run those 37-inch tyres. A nice gentle pace, and that's not going to be an issue.
First time for me to get the Iveco through some deep water and really enjoyed that experience.
There was actually no simple, easy path through. You've got to go up the middle. It went to about the top of the bonnet on the 80 series.
It really shows you it is definitely four-wheel drive country here. Outback Australia is a touring area. A lot of Ks, a lot of dirt roads, never-ending sandy tracks. Be prepared for that.
Rocking through that sandy section as well to finish that area off. It's a little bit different, but still fun at the same time. Our next stop is Namatjira Monument. We've just finished up in the Finke Gorge National Park, and as always, when you're travelling, leave the gates how you found them. So let's get the convoy through and shut this gate.
Headed along the track, we've come to this amazing thing called a hotspot for mobile phones. I've read about them, I've heard about them, I've never seen one. And there it is in action. You've got to get your phone onto a metal post, exactly in the right position so the dish shines on it, and you actually have mobile phone service out here, literally in the middle of nowhere. This is quite amazing.
It was actually good to see because that is a safety thing. You are miles from nowhere. If something happened, you could get yourself to that hotspot, get help, or even just communicate with people if you've been out there for quite a while. Once we got back out, of course, it didn't take too long. We were up to Albert Namatjira's memorial there. He was a famous Aboriginal artist and he passed away many years ago. We stopped there in a really nice spot actually, overlooking the valleys, so good spot for it. Just up the road, we pulled up into Hermansburg. Because we're continuing on to roads where you need permits, we pulled up, grabbed of course an ice cream, a permit, bit of a top up with fuel.
We were able to stop there, get a few supplies. I had the opportunity to ring back home and touch base and tell the wife that we're going to go out and buy a four-wheel drive when I get home.
We left and went to Palm Valley. The drive in there was just spectacular. The scenery through there and the rock formations is very unique. It's not something you'd see anywhere else, I'm sure. It reminds me a lot of the Roadrunner cartoons with Coyote standing on top of the hill, boulder precariously balanced.
Getting into Palm Valley was quite technical in a lot of areas. I haven't done a massive amount of driving in this sort of terrain, so I had to really take it a bit easy, slow it down a little bit, crawl across the areas and make sure I was driving the vehicle to the best of its capabilities.
It was just like a little valley. It was magnificent colours, the water. We got to a spot where it was just covered in rocks, and that's another thing where you should rig up your car the right way. You don't know what you're going to find when you get in there, but it looked really, really good, so the scenery was fantastic.
It was 170 k's through to Kings Creek Station. It was quite a long windy road, able to get up to around 110 k an hour in some areas. At the same time there were a lot of dips and a lot of crevices. Even though you're at high speed, you really need to be careful of your terrain and your whereabouts and where you are and how quick you're actually travelling. In for the night, settle up, get a bit of rest and looking forward to tomorrow.
Day 9 of our Red Centre adventure started out like any other, but things can quickly change and we had just received an emergency call over the radio.
We're into the rim walk to make your way. We're at the Caravan lookout entrance. Awesome, thank you mate, stay on this channel, we'll let them know, thank you. Thank you very much. Got it?
G'day, is this the ranger station? I'm calling from a satellite phone. A person is injured approximately 2 kilometres in from the rim walk near one of the lookouts.
With the convoy parked safely off the highway, I drove into Kings Canyon to improve the UHF range and seek further assistance. Fortunately, a ranger was close at hand. Hey gang, we're just on a sat phone and we've got an injured girl up on the rim walk.
So you're the one that we were just trying to get come through?
Yeah, so we've got a sat phone out on the highway there.
No worries.
And I've got the guy, Robert, who's up on the hill.
Alright, I've got one of the rangers down here. He's just talking to the clinic now, organising some medical assistance. Is that correct? You're in contact with the ranger now? We won't make another sat phone call?
No worries. Thanks very much for that. We'll grab it from there.
All good.
Copy that, Danny. I've got a ranger here with me on a radio, yes. So don't make another satellite call, and if you want, you can drive into where I am. Copy that, we'll settle up and move in.
Just completed our walk up through into Kings Canyon and absolutely amazing. The flora and fauna here is just beautiful, and after the recent rains, there's flowers everywhere. It's not what you'd expect. We've just done one of the shorter walks, which was 2 hours return. There is a lot longer tracks, anywhere up to 2 to 3 days.
It's a nice paced walk. I suppose kids or toddlers or people of age can walk up there nice and easily, and great relaxing walk.
Got to do this stuff.
Very spectacular. But some beautiful rock formations and well worth the visit.
Well, we've all heard about the four-wheel drive track that starts at 4 o'clock at night. It's pretty famous. Well, we had an official one last night. We met Steve from the Outback 4 Drive Club in a pristine green Rubicon Jeep. Not a scratch or a mark on it, not terribly high. What challenges could that possibly present for us? We headed out to a little track which is literally minutes out of the centre of town, which is quite amazing, to a sand dune type area with a huge amount of potholes in it.
So it was my second time actually going into full drive low range. I actually found it a bit difficult on some spots. I had my dad helping me out, Andrew Limeroth. He was spotting me through some parts and just trying to get me on the angles right. It was a good challenge for me and I definitely enjoyed it. No damage to the car, nothing like that. It was absolutely amazing.
The track itself is remarkably challenging. It was not what I would call impossibly difficult, but quite challenging. The cars all performed extremely well. We did manage to get the Volkswagen stuck a couple of times, but that was a bit of fun.
Going slow, going steady, getting your right footing, making sure your tyres are even along the track. Just a little track like that could have such difficult things to go through and enjoyable things. It was absolutely spectacular seeing the sunset, all the colours coming out in the clouds and the hills. The sun came through some parts, you'd see the rain falling down. It absolutely looked amazing from where we were up on a higher point.
As it got darker and darker and darker, you could actually see, we were over the top of Alice Springs, and you could see all the township in the background, and it shows you just how close we were to town. We had a fantastic afternoon. I mean, what more can you say? Rock crawling at 4 o'clock for an hour and a half, then to a steak dinner. It was fantastic.
So we left Alice this morning at 8:30 a.m. after everyone was ready to go. We headed out to Simpsons Gap. It's still standing strong with the caving over your head actually. It's pretty amazing to think it hasn't fallen or anything like that, because when you're standing there underneath it, it's so tall and you just think how the rock's not falling from where they are. It's pretty amazing to actually see something like that. When you look at the rock form, it wasn't a machine that cut through it, it was actually just water. Something so soft, but yet it's so rapid and harsh, it can actually cut through the rocks and cause erosion over time. I'd definitely recommend going out to Simpsons Gap because it is a close place to Alice Springs and it's really amazing to look through everything. You do need to respect the land though there because it is heritage of the Aboriginal people. You can definitely go there, go for the walk, look at everything. Just don't climb where it says don't climb and just take photos and enjoy the time while you're there.
Firewood is an essential ingredient of any camp out. Basically, it gets very, very cold. You're not going to sit around a TV because there isn't any TVs. You sit around your fire. Use your fire for cooking, for boiling water, and also it's a great social thing. It's the bush TV, basically. To get your firewood, you can't get it in the national parks, so you have to get your firewood out of the national parks, and there's plenty of firewood around, but don't be lazy and just try and get off the side of the road. Walk a little bit in and you'll find heaps of laying over dead woods. There's no problems there. We've got the chainsaw out, which was pretty blunt from the last effort, I might add, because the wood we found previously was full of grit, so bluntened the saw. So we got the saw sharpened up, mixed up a bit of two-stroke and got into it. We had a fantastic team effort. Everybody got involved. And within no time at all, we had the Iveco pretty close to 3/4 full of firewood, stacked up about yay high, enough for a great fire for tonight and tomorrow night. So we're really looking forward to that because it is going to be cold, and as I said, fires are an important part of outback camping, keeps it all together.
You don't realise what you're driving into until you get closer and the ranges get bigger, it just looks more magnificent. Nice easy walk, bit of vegetation around, then all of a sudden the rocks rise up around you and the cycads and everything in here, and then all of a sudden you come into this beautiful amphitheatre here. It's absolutely glorious. As you can see behind me, it's quite a popular tourist area, so there's quite a few people around today, and even the dark weather hasn't really stopped them.
So the path in on the walk, it wouldn't just go in a straight line, you'd actually go in a zigzag, going through some different parts of it, seeing all the different plants, seeing the birds. You think that being so close near Simpsons Gap, the Standley Chasm would look pretty similar, but different rock shapes, different rock surfaces. Some were really smooth and slippery, but other ones were really rocky, sharp, hard. But it's just really cool to see. And when we went through the actual chasm itself, it's spectacular to see like these two rocks so close next to each other, and you just think of a flowing river just pumping through there. It's actually unbelievable to look up and you just see all these rocks forming around you and just holding on there.
We've made our way right through the chasm, and unfortunately you can't go any further from here. It does look interesting, but obviously traditional land, so we respect that. This place is just magnificent. What can you say about the place? It's amazing.
So when we arrived here, we went up to the kiosk and we got some morning tea, we got some biscuits, coffee, tea. Right next to the fireplace, which was great because it's been raining today, a bit low on the weather, but it's still been a great time, and just to have the morning tea right next to the fire was really good. I definitely recommend coming here because it's just really relaxing and seeing a different side of the Northern Territory. Before you head off on these walks, just make sure you know all about photography rules. You can't take photos of certain things, or make sure you ask for permission before you do it. Other than that, definitely have a good time, take some good photos, have some memories of where you went, tell others about it and tell them how spectacular it was, because to me, this place was absolutely amazing.
We left Standley Chasm today and drove through to Reedy Hole, Waterhole, which was a fantastic drive once again. It was a beautiful spot. There was water there, the sun was just bouncing off the water, the mountains were glistening in the water, so it was a really nice spot. Nice rocky spot, a couple of the cars took some nice pics on some bigger rocks. But yeah, no, it was a beautiful spot. It was cold today, it hasn't been that warm. We had a fair bit of rain last night. been a bit cold. I reckon one of the coldest days we've had on this trip, but never let it get it down, just keep going. That's probably one of the reasons why no one went for a swim there, or game enough to go for a swim, but yeah, I think if there was a bit of sun, I reckon Danny would have been in. It was sandy and rocky, so it was a combination of two, which was good on the cars. We didn't let our tyres down on the way in. So once we stopped, we decided to let them down, and then just the drivability of the vehicles was just so much better and so much easier. The engine wasn't working hard, the car wasn't working hard, and I wasn't working hard, I was just following, so it was really good. You can't really top each day here. This place just gets better and better and better.
Coming in on these tracks is a lot of sand. There's sand in the creek beds, which is typically white. Then you get that incredible red sand on the tracks. Now the red sand is kind of like soil that's broken down, where the other sand is more like what you're probably familiar with, which is beach sand. But whichever way it is, there's one thing in common: you need a little bit of momentum. Now, not too much. You'll get airborne, you'll break your car, you'll cause all sorts of damage, and you'll chop up the track. But enough momentum so you're not just crawling, so just a little bit of speed and nice and gentle. Tyre pressures, as we always talk about tyre pressures, have got to be let down. I'm not going to go on about that anymore, we're done to death. But yeah, tyre pressures, a little bit of momentum, and sand driving is really good fun. The major thing to watch out for is it's like driving a boat with a tiller. You point the direction you want to go and it decides it will go there eventually. It doesn't respond immediately. It's not like on the bitumen. So people who overcorrect often come into grief. Just let the car do its thing, let it work its way around the corners, and you shouldn't have too much trouble. A little bit of practice is a good thing for sand driving, but this isn't all that challenging if you know what you're doing. But if you didn't know what you're doing, it could be a bit daunting, because we're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this is really, really remote. This is the beauty of it. The track to Hugh Gorge is absolutely fantastic driving. It's a really, really good experience. It makes you feel like a bit like a rally driver. There's ups and downs and roller coaster stuff. There's really nice corners. There's this beautiful ever-present blue sky. It's a beautiful drive in. We've had that incredible afternoon light, which is something this whole country always shows to us. The gum tree trunks look vivid white. You've got the green of the leaves, the red of the gorges, the red of the sand, this beautiful blue sky as a backdrop, and it's just fantastic. It is really, really special. I should also mention Birthday Waterhole. And the scary thing about Birthday Waterhole was we actually found people in their birthday suits, which was a bit scary, a bit confronting. Anyway, very happy, nice young lot of backpackers all having swims, so it was all good. We spent a little bit of time there. We met some nice people with clothes on who we chatted to extensively, who have bought some of our products and said hello to us and waved, which was nice. So that was really good, set up with all their solar panels and their fridges and playing Scrabble in the bush. What a great way to spend the afternoon. Anyway, we moved on from there into this place. We've got this all to ourselves, which is absolutely fantastic. So this is another thing of the beauty of the Outback Australia.
We've just pulled into the Hugh Gorge camping site, which is a fantastic site once again. I've just set up my swag. For me, I like a swag. It's a little bit quicker to set up, quicker to fold, put away, and I just find it's warmer. Tents are great. I just a little bit, a little bit more work to put up for me, for my liking. I'm on my own, so yeah, I set up the swag. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Now there's one minor problem with this campsite. It's rocky, as we had before at Boggy Hole, so we've managed to find very small pieces of real estate that have actually got sand on them. We've found one for Luch around the corner. I don't know where the rest of the guys are going to camp. I think we've found the two best spots. So we're looking forward to a great night tonight. We've got a bonfire to burn. This is our second last night out, so this is really going to be special. Looking for a nice sky. It should be absolutely fantastic. Every time we come up to the Kimberleys or Central Australia, it always presents us to us this wonderful afternoon light. And I guess the afternoon light is what makes this place special, and the very early morning light as well. It's all about contrast, as I often say. The trail out is really, really nice. Same as we went in the same way we went out, so it was a terrific area, doing it in reverse. Some nice jump downs, some creek crossings, some big rocks. Not overly challenging, but really nice to drive. And the light in the morning, as always, is absolutely spectacular. So that was really, really nice.
On our way out of Hugh Gorge, we just went off from red sand to nice soft sand. Then we had to climb a little bit just to get the cars out of the, like a dry riverbed, so to speak. That was a bit intense, but it was good. We all got through all right, so it was pretty cool.
Now, Big Hole is not a really good name for things. It puts you off a little bit. You think it's just a big hole. But what it is a beautiful swimming hole surrounded by beautiful rocks, absolutely picturesque, very, very similar to the Kimberleys.
It was a billabong, you can call it that. The water was pretty still, pretty cold. Trees are growing through these rocks. It's just something that you just don't see every day of the week. It's just spectacular.
These ruins are a little bit special because this was originally an area where they used to take buses into, and it was what they called a chalet. God knows why they called it a chalet. Chalets are synonymous with snow and ice and things, not desert conditions. But anyway, this was a place you could stop off and have a break. As we walked around, without needing any radiocarbon dating or anything, we could pretty accurately tell you how old stuff was, because most of the cans had cans. We had the old can opener, you actually peeled the top in, made a little triangle shape. There was one on either side, so that would put you back to the 50s and 60s. So very, very clever, us geologists and people like that. So it was a bit of cool things. We saw all the old concrete bases and all the ruins of stuff, and we moved on from there. Then I jumped into the Aveco for the afternoon.
When you walk into the Ochre Pits, you know it's a spiritual place. There's just a magic about it when you walk down there. So, yeah, it was quite an experience today.
The Aboriginals used to use these natural rock colours. They actually used all these colourful rocks to create paintings. The colours are so strong, the paintings would have lasted a long time. You can't even comprehend how long they actually last. All of these rock forms behind us, they're really sacred to the Aboriginal people, so definitely respect the land and don't take anything.
Well look, when you're out here and you're looking at what's around you, you feel very insignificant. You're seeing gum trees here, you're seeing cars, and in relative terms, those mountains are absolutely enormous. I mean, I can't tell you how high they are, but the grandeur of it, it's quite inspiring just to sit here and look at it and feel it all around you. It is a beautiful part of the country.
This place here is epic on a bigger scope than what we've been in before. If you can see it behind me, you see the sun coming off the mountains, water. It's just serene, it's just beautiful. And yeah, nice spot. The Ormiston Gorge, the camping spot where we're staying tonight, is actually privately owned. There's not many spots, so if you rock up too late, you may not actually get a place in there. It's got a cafe, it's been kept really, really well. It's got nice amenities. It's good, they care.
Danny, Ormiston Gorge was spectacular, but I believe we've got bigger and better things ahead today.
Absolutely. We've got a quick stop into Glen Helen Resort. We'll refuel, we'll get perhaps an early ice cream, and we're off to Redbank Gorge, which should be absolutely fantastic. And our last stop for the day is Roma Gorge.
Now I'm looking forward to stopping in at Glen Helen Gorge.
So I'm going to meet you there.
See you there. Thank you, Danny.
Well, this morning we left Ormiston Gorge and ducked across the road to Glen Helen Resort and Glen Helen Gorge. Topped up with fuel, a few of the essentials in life, Al and his ice cream. I don't know how the early explorers went out here without their Weiss bars and Golden Gay times and so forth, because I know if they were Al, they wouldn't survive. Went for a walk down into the gorge. Very, very nice, beautiful area. Plenty of wildlife. Saw a couple of, or what we think are falcons flying around. It was very lovely. Beautiful area, absolutely lovely, beautiful waterhole, but definitely a very lovely place to visit.
Redbank was one of the hardest tracks that we've had to walk to a gorge. It's sandy, rocky, but it was all worthwhile to get down to the gorge and have a look at it. Anyone who's got knee problems, hip problems or anything like that, a back problem, I wouldn't be taking this walk, unfortunately, but it's worth the while if you can hack the pain.
As usual, just remember these Outback waterholes don't get a lot of sun. They need sun and solar activity on the bottom to warm them up, and of course they don't get much of that. So we got in and very, very brisk and on the caution side. You've got to be cautious. Don't go swimming straight out into the middle. You could get a cramp in your muscle in your leg or something. But it was great. Vaden swam over to the other side and then eventually conjured me out there. We both went for a bit of a longer swim to the other side and yeah, cool. By the time we got back it was towel down and you could just feel your skin. Enjoy it, just be careful.
Today's the last day, unfortunately. We're just going to finish up here and mosey on back to Alice Springs. I think the best part of the trip is, for me, was the drive along the Finke River. That 20-30 Ks we did along there was just spectacular. It was definitely a highlight for me. Unfortunately now I've got to go back and get back to work, and hopefully before too long I'll get back out here and experience it all again.
It's always a hard one when you get out on these trips to sort of think about what was the best part of the trip. And if I could name two spots, it'd be certainly Ormiston Gorge, No doubt about it, it is spectacular. I'd probably even recommend definitely seeing it in the afternoon because the hues and colours are really, really just spectacular. You can do the short walk up to that lookout, and of course it's just majestic. It's huge. It's really a huge gorge and valley. The finishing part of this trip though, I tell you what's tipping it. It's a little quaint, quiet little gorge here at Roma Gorge. With all these carvings here, it's tipping it. It probably hasn't got the majestic beauty, but gee, I tell you what, it's quaint. So these would be my two picks, I think, Ormiston and Roma.
Look, my favourite destination, I reckon, on this trip's been Ruby Gorge. It was just really cool, nice rocks, sand. There was a little bit of everything. It wasn't just a straightforward drive in there, so you had a little bit of different aspects of the day. If we weren't on such a tight schedule, it's a place that I would have stayed there longer.
So here we are at Roma Gorge. This is the last gorge of the trip, and I guess is of all the gorges we've seen, they're all gorgeous gorges, guys. They are fantastic. There isn't one that's best for me, but this one is pretty special. But we've had a fantastic journey, guys, and as always, it's got to come out and see the country for yourself. It is a beautiful place. It's the last day and I'm very sad it's the end of a very, very great journey. I've been here for the whole 12 days and there's been so many highlights and so many fun things. Ruby Gap, which was absolutely beautiful, that was beautiful. So for me, it's been a great trip. Barb's had a great time. But here we are at the end of a trip. It's been great. Thanks, guys.
Well viewers, it is unfortunately the end of our amazing 12-day Red Centre adventure. And I'd like to put together a big thank you to Danny, who put together the incredible itinerary we've all enjoyed.
Thanks, Simon. I really love coming away on those trips, but I certainly enjoy planning them, looking for those special spots for us to come out to.
And thank you also to the sponsors and of course you, the viewers.
Without you guys, these trips couldn't happen.
If you enjoyed one of our older trips, check out our most recent one, this time to the Northern Flinders Ranges.